Yeah, Minoru, I'll jump over to you. Yeah, you've been involved in a lot of different research as a commercial farmer over the last 20 years, I understand, ACR, and now with the breadfruit and among your own research. What have been, why do you think it's important for farmers to be involved in research, and what have been some of the lessons you've learned about engaging with formal research institutions?
Thank you, Tony. I think that I'll try and be quick because I know we're behind time, but I've got a lot to say because the pathway into research was a very difficult and very expensive one for me as a commercial farmer. So we cater for many smallholder, but commercial and semi-commercial farmers. Today, we're branching out now to take anything from any farmer off the street because of the work that we do linking to communities strongly with FORI Tonga Trust, who is working with 122 communities in Tonga, basically the whole country. Our work is very important in terms of linking it back to the community. So when we started, why did we go into research initially? It's because it's demand driven. It's because of a need of a gap in the production. And many of our farmers, including ourselves, were struggling as climate change impacted our production and poor production for that matter. So there was a group of visitors to Tonga from the IHC, which is the International Horticultural Congress, came one year to Tonga and they visited my premises and I explained to them some of the issues we faced. And they said, how can we help you? And I said, I need technical expertise on the ground. The state of the Ministry of Agriculture at that time was quite weak in terms of research and extension services. And this is something that's across the Pacific, not isolated to Tonga. So the importance of partnership and strengthening that is important for all of us, because we can't do it on our own. We need the government support. Anyway, they asked me to advertise on their website for anybody that wanted to come and work in Tonga. So I had to pay over 80,000 per anga, which is about 40,000 US, to get a Venezuelan professor all the way from Venezuela to come to Tonga. He dropped it on me on the last month or two to say, oh, can you pay for my daughter and my wife to come along for 1 year sabbatical? I had no choice, and I thought that this was the only way I could get some sound technical support on the ground to help us, because I think research and improvement in production is a long-term investment in agriculture, as we all know, and it needs to be ongoing. We've had about maybe 10 research since then with different organizations around the world. But it's so good to now not have to pay much for research. We engage the institutions from overseas, from USP, Tokyo University of Agriculture, ACIR, University of Sunshine Coast, Brother International, now with PIFON and FORI. I can breathe a little bit. So I want to talk specifically about the FORI project. We've been asked to hear the voices of the farmer at the grassroots level and bring up the research based on their needs. So in Tonga's case, we've set up what we call a core innovation group. We invited core players and key players in the industry of breadfruit. We've invited members, representatives from the outer islands. We have Eua, Vava'u, Hapai. Niue was a little bit difficult to get to. So we brought them in when we started this research late last year. And we have the country coordinator who's here, Metui. Hopefully you'll get to talk to him and he gets to talk to you later to learn. I brought him over here to learn from each other and sharing what you're doing in the region. We've recently hired an M&E person from New Zealand to do a gross margin value analysis of the supply chain in Tonga, and their report's coming out soon. But not only on the breadfruit, but all the produce in Tonga. So we've engaged the services in the Ministry of Agriculture in Tonga and FORI Tonga Trust working in the background to do that. I think it's important if you're going to value add and support the smallholder farmers that you get the gross margins right. I think I'll stop there for a minute. Yeah, but the importance of this is getting the right information down to the farmers with the right technical support. Yeah, we've learned a lot along the way, but we're still learning. Yeah, thank you.
wrap it up. Yeah, okay. Thank you, everyone. And I mean, there's some really interesting examples starting there, of looking at the possibilities of breadfruit in these different countries. And I guess, a lot of opportunity to maybe think more about how to put the farmers at the center, and make sure all the time that the researchers who are involved are kind of, that they're being driven by what the farmers want, that the information is accessible to them, that they understand how decisions were made about, varieties selected or technologies chosen for processing and